Coloring books are exploding on Amazon right now, and a lot of people are making hundreds to thousands every single month by simply leveraging Amazon KDP. However, one way that you can leverage on this in a unique way is by creating story coloring book for kids, just as you can see on my screen right now. And in this video, I'll be showing you how to create a unique story coloring book using AI with consistent characters so that you can start leveraging this business model and start earning from it as well. Now, the first thing that we want to do when it comes to this is we want to determine our book specifications. So for the purpose of this video, we're going to be going with a book cover type of paperback. Our dimension will be 8.5 by 11. Our bleed settings will be with bleed, and our page count will be 52 pages. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to set up our page size, which we'll use in creating our coloring book. So we want to head over to Amazon KDP topics, under which we're going to go to format your paperback and set string size, bleed, and margin. So since we're going to be using bleed for our coloring book, we're going to go over to bleed. And just in case you're not aware of what bleed indicates, bleed is simply a phenomenon where images extend towards the edge of the book. As you can see here, this is how your book will look like with bleed. So if we should click this drop down here, this is where we can see the exact page size that we would use when we're working with bleed. Since our book specification page size is 8.5 by 11, which is this, we want to go to the corresponding page size when we are leveraging bleed, which is 8.625 by 11.25 inches. So we can just copy that. And we're going to head over to Canva, click on this plus icon here, select custom size. We want to make sure your unit is in inches and not in pixels. We're going to impute the width as well as the height, just so that Canva can give us the exact page size that we will be working with for our story coloring book. So now Canva is giving us our page size, and the next thing we want to start setting up is our margins. We're going to go back to Amazon KDP Help Topics and scroll all the way further to where we see margins. And under it, we're going to see a small table here. And the margins we're going to be using is dependent on our page count. So these are the page counts and these are the corresponding margins. So our page count is 52 pages, which means it falls between this first one here. And that also means that this will be our inside margin and this would be our outside margin since we are using bleed. If you're not going to be using bleed, this would be your outside margin. So we're going to use this one, 0.375, 0.375 to fix our margins back in Canva. So we're going to head back to Canva and want to start fixing our margins. You can see I already have my rulers here. If you do not have your rulers already showing, what you can simply do is click on File, click on Settings, and click Show Rulers and Guide. Alternatively, you can click Shift plus R and it's going to pop up. Now what you want to do is you want to zoom in just so that you can see what you are doing properly, and you want to pull this all the way down here till we get our margin number. So you can see here that I got 0.389. You may not be able to get the exact number for your margin, but it is best that you use a number very close to it, and it is better more than less. Again, we're going to pull this from this side here to fix our margin, and we're going to leave it at 0.388. Now we want to do it for the other part, and what we can simply do is click on Elements and simply bring out a square shape. And what we want to do is we're going to move this square shape all the way up here just to fit it into this box where the two margins meet. Once we have that fixed properly, we're going to go ahead and duplicate it. Once we duplicate that, we want to pull it all the way down to this particular area here, and we can simply just pull the upper parts to meet the square and this part again to meet the square. Once we've done this, we have no need for the box. The box has served this purpose, so we're going to go ahead and take it out. We're also going to take this out again. So now we have our page size with the appropriate margins. What we're going to do is we're going to then duplicate it into the number of pages that we want to use for our coloring book, and that is 52 pages. So we're going to go ahead and click this duplicate page. To make it easier, we can just simply do it up to like 10, and we can click the grid view and copy all of it, then duplicate it 4 more times. That way, it's going to give us 50 pages. And then again, we can just duplicate it and we have 52 pages. By the way, if you are finding this video helpful, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to join the family, and do not forget to smash the notification bell icon so when next I drop a new video, YouTube will notify you first. Now, the next step that we want to do, which is really the important part, is we want to start creating our coloring images. But first of all, we want to determine the kind of coloring book that we're going to be creating. And if we should type story coloring book here, you can see there are different drop downs, and one of it is Bible story coloring book. You can see there are also Toy Story coloring book. However, I would not advise for you to do a coloring book on that, because Toy Story is a Disney character and it is copyrighted. So it's not advisable to be creating a coloring book on copyrighted images. So we're going to go with Bible story coloring books. And if we should scroll down, you can see a lot of them here, which are really doing well. You can see this is over 2,000 reviews. And if you should multiply that by the price per book, that is over $10,000 in revenue. You can also see this is over 460 reviews here, and it goes on and on. So this is exactly what we want to leverage on. When it comes to Bible story coloring book, Bible stories are like more of a public domain. So you can create coloring images on Bible stories, or you can choose to create any kind of typical story coloring book that you prefer based on your own creativity. However, I will always suggest that you create coloring book based on what people are already searching for on Amazon. So for the purpose of this video, we're going to be going with a Bible story coloring book. And what we're going to do next is we're going to head over to this AI tool. I'm going to be leaving a link in the description. So you want to go ahead, click the link in the description, and it will take you to this particular AI tool where you can actually create your coloring images. Now, for this particular Bible story coloring book, we're going to be having more than one Bible stories in a particular coloring book. We're going to split it into 3. So we're going to have 3 different Bible stories in this particular coloring book. So we want to click the hamburger icon and go over to coloring book generator. This particular AI tool has this feature where you can create a coloring book with consistent images. You can see tortoise and the race, the typical tortoise and the hare story, and you can see how the coloring pages are looking really consistent and in line with the coloring book cover. So you want to set your character. You can either set it by uploading your image, an image of the major character that will be in your book if you have the image, or you can use from text description. For this video, we're going to be using from text description. Now, we're going to go to ChatGPT and request for a simple physical character description of David. So we're going to start with David and Goliath. That will be the first Bible story we will use for our coloring book. And we're going to ask ChatGPT to give us a simple physical character description of David, less than 500 characters. You want to ensure that your characters are always less than 500 characters, because the AI tool doesn't need so much information. It just needs the basic details, and it's going to do the rest for you. And ChatGPT has given us, so we're going to go ahead, copy it, go back to this particular AI tool and paste it here. Now we're going to enter our story outline. I'd already previously asked ChatGPT to give us a story outline, and I said I would like to create a Bible story coloring book about David and Goliath. Give me a story outline with not more than 500 characters about the Bible story of David and Goliath. This is to help me create a story coloring book. And now if we should scroll down, and now ChatGPT has actually given us a 500 character story outline, which we can copy, head back to this AI tool and paste. Now we're going to select the number of pages to generate. Now this particular AI tool can actually generate up to 20 pages. But for the purpose of this video, where we are going to be having multiple stories in our coloring book, I'm going to use 10 pages for this particular one. I'm going to click on generate. The next thing you want to do is you want to scroll down and check everything that you have inputted. Make sure it's all good. For the dimensions, we're going to leave it as default, because if you remember, we are using 8.5 by 11, which is more like a portrait kind of rectangle. However, if you are using a square, maybe like 8.5 by 8.5 inches, you may want to use the square, or if you're using a landscape kind of dimension, you want to go with the landscape. So I'm going to leave it on default, and we're going to scroll down as well and click remove watermark and generate. Now you can see that this particular AI tool has given us a unique character that we're going to be using for David. You can see the first one. This is the front view, the side view, and the back view. You can also see the second one, the front view, the side view, and the back view. I'm going to be going with this second one here. You want to scroll down and click on the next step. Now, the next step, this particular AI tool has given us a storyline. This is the title, and this is the pages here. And you can decide to make any edits that you want to make. However, I would not really advise you make any edits because you can always make edits when you are actually filling it into the Canva design. So you want to go ahead and click Start Generating. And you can see that this AI tool has already given us a unique coloring book for this. So if we should open it, you can see this is the coloring book cover. And if you should scroll, you can see the first page of David. You can see the next page here and all of the right up below, the next page and the next page, which is really great. So we've gotten the first part of our Bible story. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and download zip. So the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and generate another book. Again, from the text description, we want to generate a book. And this time we're going to generate a story on Solomon, the wise king. And we can go to ChatGPT. Again, we can just copy this prompt over here, paste it below, and say about Solomon, the wise king. And we're going to go ahead and ask ChatGPT to generate. And just like that, ChatGPT has given us a unique story outline, which we want to go ahead, copy, head over to this AI tool and paste it here. Remember, it should be less than 500 characters. We also want to go to ChatGPT and ask for a physical characteristics of the feature of Solomon, just so that we can have consistent character images. We're also going to copy this that we use for David, paste it over here and say of Solomon. And we're going to go ahead and ask. So again, ChatGPT has given us the unique physical character description, which we're going to copy, head over to this AI tool and use the from text description and paste. Now we're also going to select the number of pages as 10 for this next story. And we're going to go ahead and click on generate. Again, we're going to scroll down, leave the dimension at default, remove the watermark and click on generate. And just like that, this particular AI tool has given us unique characters that we can use. And we are just going to look at them. This is King Solomon, front, the side and the back, as well as this here. So I'm going to be going with this second one here and I'm going to click on next step. Now, this particular AI tool has given us a storyline. You can see it here, each of the pages. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and click on Start Generating. And again, you can see that another coloring book has been created with unique story coloring pages. If we should open it, you can see here King Solomon's Wisdom. If we should click the next page, you can see here and you can see all of the unique pages. Again, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and download it as zip. And again, what we are going to do is we are going to then create another story coloring pages following another Bible story. And one Bible story that we can leverage on is Noah and the Ark. So we're going to go again, use the same outline, copy and paste again here and say about Noah and the Ark. And we're going to ask ChatGPT to generate that. Again, ChatGPT has generated that for us. We're going to copy, head over to this AI to paste our story outline here, go back to ChatGPT, and again, we're going to request for a physical characteristic of Noah. Again, we're going to ask ChatGPT to generate that. And ChatGPT has done that, which we're going to go and paste into this AI tool again. We're going to go leave it at 5 pages this time because since our coloring book is composed of 52 pages, we're going to be working with 25 coloring page because we want to leave the back of the coloring page blank just to avoid any seeping of colors into the next page. So we're going to leave it as 5 pages since we've created 2 10 pages before. We're also going to leave the dimension at default and tick remove watermark. Now, you may want to make your coloring book more pages as much as you want to increase the perceived value of the coloring book. You can make it as high as 50, 100 as you wish. And you want to go ahead and click on generate again. Now, this particular AI tool has given us unique characters for Noah. I'm just going to be going with the second one and we're going to click on the next step. Again, it has given us storyline page by page for this particular story and we're going to click start generating. And again, for the Noah and the Great Ark, there has also been another book that's been created. So if we open it, you can see Noah, you can see the animals. And if you click on the next page, This is it up till the last page here. So what we are going to do again is we're going to download it as zip. Now we have downloaded it as zip. The next thing we want to do is we want to start adding all of these images to our coloring book. So we want to go to Canva. The first one here, we can easily just do a name page here. We can click on heading and we can write this book belongs to. You may want to change the font if you wish. We can make it as bold as you want, and we can just simply add a line. We can go to graphics and simply pick a line. We can put it below here, extend it all the way, and this leaves us with the name page. Now we want to come up with the name for our coloring book. We can simply ask ChatGPT. You may want to have done that earlier, or if you already have one in mind, that's still okay. So you can ask ChatGPT, I created a coloring book consisting of Bible stories for kids. Give me title ideas to use for the coloring book. And you can see ChatGPT has given us all of this. So I'm going to copy this. I like this one here. Bible stories for little hearts. This is where we're going to start adding our coloring images as well as the story that follows. So we're going to go ahead and go to projects, create folder. So I'm naming it Bible story and continue. Now under this is where I'm going to upload all of our files that we've downloaded. And I'm going to just copy them and add it. So I've gone ahead to upload them in our folder, and I already extracted them from our zip file. So you want to make sure that you do that. You can also decide to remove them individually and add them as files. However, I added them as a folder just so it's easy for me to impute them in our Canva design. So the first thing I want to do is we want to go ahead and add a text over here. And we can decide to write the story of David and Goliath. We can make that bold and have that centralized in the middle. We can also decide to adjust the fonts. And of course, the next one is where we're going to start adding our images. So we're going to go to our folder where we have it there. We're going to go to the David and Goliath and start adding them in the exact order as it appears. To be certain, we can go back to our coloring book, open it just to know the next one that comes. First, David and the shepherd boy watching over his sheep. So we're going to look for this image here. We're going to add it over here, increase the size to make it as bold as possible. However, bold enough to give us some space to write our story. So we're going to go again, go to text, add the text, then go to our AI tool and copy what this AI tool has given us. We can then add it here. Just a little text. We can change the fonts. So I zoomed it out to fill the page. We're going to leave this blank page and go over to the next one. So we're going to copy this here. The reason why we're leaving this blank page is because this blank page is the back of this page. And just in case markers are being used to avoid the color seeping into the next coloring page. So we're going to go over to the next one and paste the text here. From our coloring image, this is what the text says. David walking toward the battlefield to visit his brothers who are soldiers. And I'm going to go back and edit that here. Next thing is we're going to take the appropriate image for that, which is this one here. We want to zoom that to ensure that it fills the entire space, and we can then cut this out. Again, we can copy the text, leave a blank page, go over to the next and paste. Go to our AI tool and see what our AI tool says. Copy the text over there, go back to Canva and edit it. And we're going to add the next image, which is this one. Pull it over here when David meets his brothers. We want to make sure it's as bold as possible. So now we're going to give a space again after this while copying the text. And we're going to paste that here. Go back to our AI tool. Go to the next page and copy what the text is. Edit it. And then we're going to add what the next story coloring image should be, which is this one over here. We want to zoom that out. This is how we're going to complete it for the remaining part of the story for David and Goliath. And once we come back, I'm going to show you how I'm going to introduce the next Bible story in our coloring book. So this is how the overall view looks like for the David and Goliath. And we want to go into the next step, which is to add for the other Bible stories. And what we can simply do is we can just simply copy this text over here. This is for us to be able to get the exact font and the font size. And we're going to go and scroll to the next page after this. Remember that this page is on the right side of the coloring book. So this next page will be on the left side, and that's where we want to put the title for our next story. So we can paste our text here. However, it will be the story of King Solomon's wisdom. So we can copy this here. And again, just to get the exact font and font size, we're going to go to the coloring book for the King Solomon, and we are going to start adding all of the stories there as well as their corresponding coloring image. So we'll copy this, going back here to paste it. We're going to add the image here, the corresponding coloring image, fit it into the remaining parts of the page. And this is how we're going to continue for all of the pages for both this particular story and the next story. So I'm going to go off the camera and finish it up. And once I'm done, I'm going to come back and show you how it looks like before we head over to the next step. And just like that, we have completed everything for our Bible story coloring book. And if you scroll all the way down, you can see all of the stories here with their unique write-up over here. You can see the consistent characters in the story, all of it. You can see the second story here. You can see the amazing image. And we were able to achieve this because of this particular AI tool. Now, this particular AI tool was able to give us consistent image. And another good thing about this AI tool is that it also has free coloring pages where you can also decide to download any of them, whichever you prefer. However, if you want to do more specific or themed coloring books like the type we're doing right now, you would need to utilize either the text to coloring page or the coloring book generator, where you'll be able to prompt this AI tool. Again, you can also use the photo to coloring page, where you can transform an actual photo into a coloring page. And all of these are great. So aside from the free coloring pages, in order to be able to access the photo, the text to coloring page, as well as the coloring book generator and the batch mode, you need to be subscribed to the pricing plan. Now, for the pricing plan, there's the starter, there's the hobby, there's the professional, there's the business. And you can see all of them with their different timing, which is much more cheaper. However, there's also the monthly plan. There's the starter, the hobby, the professional, the business, and the higher the pricing plan, the higher, the accessibility for the features. So like I said, I've added the link to the description. You want to go ahead, click it and go check it out. So now that we've completed the interior pages of our coloring book, we're going to click on share. We're going to click on download. We're going to change the file type to PDF print, and we're going to change the color profile to CMYK and flatten PDF and download. Now, once we do this, the next step we want to do is we want to start creating our cover page. Now, remember that our coloring book generator had given us cover pages. However, it gave us 3 different cover pages for each of the stories that we're using, and we can't add 3. We just need 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to create one for ourselves. In order to do that, you want to head over to KDP cover calculator, where you want to get the exact template we are going to be using for our book cover. You want to select the binding type, which is paperback, the interior type, which is black and white, the paper type, which is white paper, the reading direction, which is left to right, the measurement unit, which is in inches, and the interior trim size, which is 8.5 by 11. Our page count is 52, and we're going to click on calculate dimension. Once we do that, it's going to give us an exact dimension that we are going to impute in Canva in order to be able to create our book cover. We can as well also download the template to our device. So we're going to copy this here. We'll head over to Canva, add a new design over here, click on custom size and change this width and create a new design. This would automatically create a design that we are going to be working with for our book cover. And we're going to go ahead and upload the templates PNG into our design. We're going to ensure that it meets or it fits into our design. It should be an actual fit because we used the exact template dimensions. Now, the whole essence of adding this template is just so that we are able to monitor how we design our book cover. And this pink border lines is just an indication that any important, write-up or element should not exceed this pink line. If not, it risks being trimmed out during the printing process, and also just for us to be able to monitor where we add elements, important elements, just so that the barcode does not cover it. Now, next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and start designing our book cover. And I just need the background. And what I can search for is sky and cloud cartoon style because I'm looking for something cartoon-ish. I'm going to be adding this one over here, and I can just reduce the transparency. The whole essence of reducing the transparency is just so that I can be able to at least see the template and be able to monitor where I'm putting whatever element. Now we're going to add some text. We're going to add like a heading here. This is where we want to put in our book name. So I've added that here. I can decide to as well change the fonts, change the color as well to white, and add a little bit of effects. We're going to use the outline, add a little bit of black around it, and add some thickness to it. We're also going to go ahead and add the subtitle, A Fun Coloring Adventure. We're going to bolden that as well, add it below, and change the font as well, depending on what we choose. So now that we've added that, the next thing is we want to start adding our images. We can go to our projects and go to where we have the cover pages of all of these particular stories. So you can see David and Goliath. Let's bring it here. We can also see King Solomon. We're going to bring it here as well. And we're going to go back again and bring Noah, the Ark, and bring it here as well. Now what we're going to do is we want to start adding them gradually. For Noah and the Ark, we can simply click on Edit, go to Magic Grab, and we can simply just click on the elements we want to pick. So now once we've selected all of the elements we want to grab, then we can click on the grab. Once we click on that, the elements will be able to be removed from the particular image here, and we can just add them here. We can reduce it, make it smaller. And once we are done, we can take this out. Now note that the grab icon is actually available for the Canva Pro. So you need to have the Canva Pro for you to be able to use that feature. So now we can pull this over to the side. Again, we can head over to David. We can go again, click on Edit, go to the Magic Grab. And once we are done selecting the element you want to grab, we're going to grab that out as well. Now, you may not utilize this exactly, but this is just showing you how you can be creative when you are creating your own book cover and your own designs. Now that we have grabbed the element, we can simply just pull it out and it will be separated from the actual background, which we can just delete. That way, we can then add it over here by reducing the size as well. And again, we want to do the same for King Solomon. So we're going to click on Edit. We're going to click on the Magic Grab again as well. And we want to just simply grab whichever that we want to grab. And once we are done, we can simply click on Grab as well. So once we are done grabbing it, you'll be able to pull it out from the overall book cover that AI had generated. And we're going to delete the book cover since we have no need for it. Now we're just going to make adjustments. You can see I put Noah and the Ark a little bit downwards. I can take David a little bit afar, positioning behind. And I can bring Solomon all the way down here. What I can do, because this guy is cut off at this part, I can click on Edit. I can scroll to Magic Expand and simply just expand this part here just to give him some external body. And we have been able to add that here using that feature. So now what we can do is we have simply fixed that for all of the images here. Next thing we want to do is we want to add a bit to the back. And typically what I will do is just add a few coloring pages at the back, just so that prospective buyers have an idea on what they are getting. So we can go back to our interior pages and we can just simply click on Share, click on Download, click on PNG. We're going to leave it at PNG, and this time we're going to select a few pages. We can decide to select 6 or 4, whichever the case may be. So I selected 6, and we're going to go ahead, click on Done and click on Download. And what we're going to do is we're going to simply go ahead and add them to our design. So we're going to click Upload Files, add all of the pictures, and we can simply begin to add them. Once we're done, we can simply align them all together. Reason I'm doing this is because I want to get them in a particular size so that all of them can easily be added quickly. So I'm going to leave them at this shape here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding all of them around. Again, I can copy all of it, add a stroke around it, make the stroke a little less visible. Then I can start bringing all of them and adding it around. We can also choose to have it centralized just so that it looks really presentable. And you can see that is all looking good. One thing you may want to add is your author name. You can simply add that to the bottom here. And just like that, we've been able to do something really good with our coloring book cover. Now, what we want to do is want to take out the template that we've added, the template that we do not longer need. So we can first of all move this to the back and take out this template. Again, we're going to go ahead and increase the transparency back to how it was before. I went ahead to change the color of the name just so that it's more visible, and you can see how beautiful it looks. Just like that, we've been able to create a coloring book cover as well as a coloring book for kids, which is a story coloring book, simply by leveraging AI. And once that is all said and done, want to go ahead, click on share, click on download, click on PDF print, select flatten PDF and change the color profile to CMYK and download it. Now, once all that is said and done, next thing you want to do, obviously, is for you to publish it on Amazon KDP. You want to head over to Amazon KDP. If you do not have an account, you want to go ahead and sign up. And you want to select create a paperback, because typically paperbacks are usually more cost effective for beginners. And you want to select your language, input your book title. And one important thing you want to do is you want to input your description. Now, your description is basically details about what your book is about, the pages, what it's about, and why people should actually buy. To do that, head over to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to give you a description. So I'm asking ChatGPT, I would like to go with this title, Bible Stories for Little Hearts. I want to upload the story coloring book on Amazon, and the story coloring book contains the story of Noah and the Ark, Solomon the Wise King, and David and Goliath. Give me an SEO-friendly description to upload on Amazon KDP. You want to remember that the more details you give to ChatGPT, the better and more refined your results will be. And we're going to go ahead and ask ChatGPT. And just like that, ChatGPT has given us really great SEO-friendly description that would not just help to explain to our prospective buyer what our book is about, but also help us rank for better search results. We're going to go back and add that here. You may want to read through it and, of course, switch as you may. You want to pick your primary audience. This is super important because when you're creating your book, you should have a primary target. This is a story coloring book and it appeals more to children. So you want to pick the age range. And for this, I can pick for about 4 to 6. And the marketplace is going to be on Amazon.com. Now, one important thing is the keywords. And the thing about keywords is they help to tell Amazon what exactly your book is about, so that when people are searching for some specific keywords, it will determine whether your book is the best fit for them to show up in the search results. And one better way to find your keywords is on Amazon. So you can see story coloring book for kids, story coloring book for kids ages to 5, story coloring book for kids 3 to 5, and all of that. So you want to, add all of that in your keywords. Now, you want to fill in all of the details and again add your manuscript as well as your book cover. So this is how our book is going to look like. This is an idea of how our book will look like when it's printed. You can see how it looks really, really cute. And if we should scroll, you can see the main page. And as well, you can see all of the images inside it. Looking very bright, looking very beautiful, very cute. And once you're good with it, once all that is said and done, you want to click on approve. And as well, save and continue. You want to price your book accordingly based on the perceived value that you think your book is. I also suggest that you look at other books on Amazon similar to the kind of books you are doing. For example, we have Bible story coloring book. And if you go on Amazon, you can see here, you can see 9.99, 9.99 and stuff like that. So we're going to price it. You can also see 7.99. It totally depends on what you want to do. However, Amazon has changed their royalties. So you want to price it such a way that you're also making some reasonable amount of royalties on it. In this case, we're making $3.15, which is not bad at all. Again, want to scroll down, you can decide to request a book proof just to proof check how it is, if there are any mistakes that will physically appear or how your book actually looks like when it's being printed. After which you can then go ahead and publish your book. And just like that, you are being able to publish a story coloring book with consistent characters that kids can not just get activities from, they can also enjoy and as well teach them some form of moral lessons, which is a really great way for engaging kids that parents are totally going for. If you found this video helpful and you like this video, then you certainly like the video that I'm going to attach to your screen right now, where I show you how to create activity books for kids, very simple and easy, and as well publish on Amazon KDP. And if that interests you, you want to click the video you see on your screen right now and go check that out. Ciao.